From MTN Sports, this is Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Happy New Year! And the best part about 2025 is that Montana State football is still playing. They're getting ready for the national championship down in Frisco, Texas against North Dakota State. I'm Keaton Galogly with Grace Lawrence of the Bobcat Insider. We've got head coach Brent Vigen and safety Drew Polidore joining us in just a bit. But Grace, here we go. We got one more game and it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be such a good one. I'm so excited for the quarterback play. Two of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Cam Miller and Tommy Mellott, who will also be up for the Walter Payton that Saturday night.
So many fascinating storylines in this game, including two great friends in head coach Brent Vigen and head coach Tim Polasek of North Dakota State battling each other. We're going to talk about that and more with head coach Brent Vigen after this on the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back to the Bobcat Insider. I'm Keaton Galogly along with head coach Brent Vigen. Coach, we are still talking. Here we are into December and January and getting ready for more football. Special when we get the season this long.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you start a team, and I would say every coach across the country, every team across the country desires to play meaningful football into December, and for those fortunate like us, you get to play into January. So nothing we take for granted here, but thankful we extended this thing as far as we possibly could, and looking for the opportunity on January 6th.
And playing this long means you get a little bit of a Christmas break in the football season. What'd you do? How's the schedule been? And did you get anything new fancy gifts?
Yeah, not a whole. I got new AirPods, I guess. That was
go.
AirPods Pro, so that was probably the biggest gift. But it worked out where we met that Sunday morning after the game. We're able to allow the guys to get home. The way the calendar fell, it really fell in a good spot where they go home for Christmas, spend those, 3 days at home. We brought them all back on the 26th, and the guys have come back are really charged up. I think it was. You're 15 games plus a couple bye weeks into it. It was a welcome, opportunity to step away. And holidays are such an important time, so we've got a chance to get our guys home for Thanksgiving now, Christmas, and then still be playing football. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, what was it like for you after the game, just getting an opportunity to address your team? I mean, you've seen this team and this locker room both at the highs and the lows. What was it like? What was the emotion? What was the electricity in the locker room after this one?
Well, it was something, and I think having the opportunity to do it at home in front of our fans and have the stadium obviously spill out onto the field, those things are it's what college football, college sports are all about, when everybody is sharing in that success in the moment, and then for that moment we get all our guys in the locker room and. Obviously a really special time there. The president was in there. Before I got in there, having a chance to dance a little bit with the guys. I mean, how neat is that? And then, for our guys just to soak it all in and appreciate one another. And, those are moments that they'll never forget. Those moments never go away. And in this day and age of how transactional college athletics has become, those times when you can't put a price tag on it, and those guys are going to never forget that. It's awfully special, and this team continues to do special things, and even having this opportunity to be together, as we go into the new year, I think that's something that again we want to cherish forever.
One of the enduring images that I'm sure Bobcat fans will cherish forever was the dribbled touchdown by Tommy Mellott, the 41-yard rush after the drop snap. Just going back to that play, now that you had a chance to really digest it, I mean, to me that was one of his greatest touchdowns of his career. Yeah,
it was like third and a foot,
Yep.
So I think he knew full well that, I can't let this mistake put us back. I'm just going to get forward as best I can. And fortunately, everybody kept playing football. And I know anytime the ball goes on the ground, the defense reacts in such a way that it created an opportunity, and it was a good bounce. Obviously, got back in his hands. Scotty reacted the right way and blocked the edge. I think Connor had a really good block on the backside, and then Tommy's athleticism just took over. I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 yards to get, but then he had to clear a guy, stay on his feet, and then it was ultimately I think 41 yards. So huge play in that game, and a good bounce, but more just a better play by Tommy, I think, at the end of the day, and it. Yeah, it'll go down there. He's had so many touchdowns, so many wow moments in his career, but that'll be right at the top of the list.
Yeah, it's even better when he gets to go into the Sonny Holland end zone, which was also the side of the field where you got some really big plays from your defensive backs, particularly Texas defensive backs. Taden Gray, Simeon Woodard, some big pass breakups. Seemed like the defense really stepped up. I mean, only allowing 3 points in basically the last 3 quarters of this game.
Yeah, I thought we defended the pass really well the whole game. They were a team that thrived on the big play in the passing game, and throughout the playoffs, they'd hit a bunch of them. And we really, I think his completion percentage was solid, but ultimately the biggest gain was in the low 20s, I think. We defended it well. We challenged the ball in the air. I know that that play that Tatum made, and we're talking a matter of less than a yard that they came up short. So if that's not a good, strong tackle, it's 1st and goal at the 2. And there's so many plays, and I think just playing in that end for them was really challenging. I made a decision at halftime to kick that way, even though the wind had shifted a little bit, so they would have to finish it down in that end. And it worked out where I think our fans beyond made a huge difference at the same time. So many things went into how that game finished off, and couldn't ask for a better setting, a better bunch of guys to be able to take advantage of all the opportunities we had out there.
Now you're going to need that defense again going up against North Dakota State in the championship. And, going back to the meeting with them last year in the second round, really it did feel like the defense got off to a really good start. A couple of early 3-and-outs. There was a lot of pressure. Seemed like Cam Miller was in a lot of 3rd and longs. What are you taking from that defensive performance and how the defense is different now?
Yeah, I thought we did some things really well in that game. And unfortunately, for how well we played on defense to start, we just didn't put points on the board. We had opportunities. We didn't put points on the board. So getting into quarter 2, it just became this back and forth affair through, quarter 2 and quarter 3. We made some big plays. They made some big plays. We had another opportunity late in that game to take advantage and go up 2 scores. We didn't do it. So just a game where there was plenty of offense, defense that went our way, but then there was plenty of things that they did well too. So I think the takeaway from that day is that we can compete with North Dakota State. I know that. But at the same time, you gotta be on point. You can't make mistakes that hurt yourself. And we did enough that day, and they certainly made some plays at the same time. They're a different team. We're a different team, and here we sit. About 13 months later, getting a chance to square up again.
Right, and there were a lot of injuries. Drew Polidore was out. Julius Davis was out. Obviously, Tommy Malott got hurt in that game as well. But you mentioned different teams going into this matchup now. What are some of the main differences you see in this North Dakota State team now compared to last year?
Well, I think they've continued to get better through the course of the season. How they're playing defense right now is at a championship level, and I don't know that early in the season they would have maybe said that. So they've had individuals continue to improve. I think they've continued to find their strengths. They won that game defensively against South Dakota State, in my opinion, that semifinal game. It's not to say their offense didn't make some plays, but they played really good defense. And I think offensively, they've become more of a passing team, and they have a real weapon in Bryce Lance, and he's not the only one, but he's become in the playoff time a star in his own right. And Cam Miller has had the type of season that I think they'd hoped for and expected, and it's good reason he's up there with Tommy Malott for that Walter Payton Award. So they're good on offense and defense, and they've continued to get better. I think, just like I think we're a different team than we were back in August, I think they could say the same thing. And I think it's clearly at this point the best 2 teams in the country squaring off. And
going up against a new coach for them as well, Tim Polisek. Now, both you and him coming off the Craig Bohl coaching tree. Why did Craig Bohl have such a big, long lineage of coaches behind him?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think generally speaking, I'm probably the longest. I worked for him for 18 years. So I think he had guys that had an opportunity to learn from him for multiple years in multiple different situations. Whether it was my time at NDSU or our time together at Wyoming, a lot of lessons to be learned about how to run a program, how to build a program, how to recruit, how to develop. And in Tim's case, he worked with him. We haven't worked together since 2012, but he worked at both places with him as well. And I'm sure Tim would say the same things. That there was just it was just a constant learning experience for us. And we're just 2 of the many guys that worked under him that are head coaches and having success. And I think it's certainly a credit to Coach and how he empowered each one of us. I think Tim and I both say the same thing, that we grew up as coaches under Coach Bohl, and he gave us opportunities that allowed us to get better, forced us to get better, and encouraged us along the way, but then let us do our job. So he was a great example to the both of us, and it'll be good. He's going to be at the game. I know he's going to be neutral from what he told me, and I'm sure he's extremely proud that we're both coaching in this game.
I'm sure you can come up with a good gold and yellow type shirt that you can wear.
For sure.
All right, Coach. Well, we're excited for it. Glad to be playing football in January.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Grace Lawrence will rejoin us on the Bobcat Insider, and later Drew Polidore joins the show as well.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
From the Treasure State down to the Lone Star State, we're getting ready for the national championship between Montana State and North Dakota State in Frisco, Texas. It's a place where they've been playing the national championship for 15 straight years, and it's a place where there's a lot of Bobcats who have come up from.
Montana State takes such pride in their Texas natives on the team. It's the second most represented state on the team outside of Montana. And the standout defensive back from Katy, Drew Polidore, will tell more about his journey coming up after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence joined by defensive back Drew Polidore. Thanks for coming in today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with, a couple weeks ago, you guys grabbed a huge win over South Dakota in the semifinals and punched your ticket to Frisco. How sweet was that?
It's a blessing. We're just happy to do what we set out to do. We want to know, like we always plan to.
Yeah, getting into that South Dakota game a little bit, your defense kind of gave up 2 big plays. How did you guys adjust and then really hone in that second half and not let up much scoring?
We realized it was on us. We didn't fit the runs the way we should have. Need to do a better job tackling myself. And really once we realized it was just our fault, they didn't really do anything special, we felt confident enough to get the job done the rest of the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, how is Coach Daly and Coach Owens in those in-game adjustment moments? How are they as leaders?
They're great as leaders. They're always making sure we're staying level-headed, not too upset about anything, not too happy about anything ever. But they make great adjustments, tell us exactly what we need to do. Honestly, the communication is perfect.
Yeah, and talk to me more about that defensive standard. It's just so high, especially this season. It's rare a team scores on you in the first or second quarter, really. So just what is that standard like?
Just everybody doing their 1/11. Everybody knows their job. We understand that if you're put on that field, either as a starter or a 2, 3, you're expected to know what you're supposed to be doing in our defense. And it's a tough defense, but once it comes together, it's a beautiful thing, honestly.
Yeah, and your journey has been so special this season. Just, your ability to come back from injury, make an instant impact that first game back when you played Idaho, but so much impact since then. Just what has this latter half of the season been like for you?
It's just been, I've been trying to stay appreciative of everything that's going on. I'm happy to be out on the field with my teammates and doing what I love, and honestly, just all the W's we've been getting, all the wins, makes everything so much easier. So it's been a journey, yeah.
Yeah, Coach Vigen said something about you that has stuck with me since you came back from injury, just your impact in that initial Idaho game. Athletically, you can do things that nobody else on this team, on this defense can. When I say something like that, just what goes into your process and your ability to just be so athletic on the defense?
Honestly, it's just trusting my talent. I'm obviously set up in a position where I have a lot more range than a lot of the guys, but I try to just play my hardest, and honestly, the athleticism is just something that's part of what God gave me, honestly.
Yeah, and this season has been so worth it because you're going back to Texas. You're going back to your home state. The second most represented state on the team outside of Montana is Texas. So tell me about the pride that you Texas guys take in Montana State football and the ability to go play back home in Texas.
So we take a lot of pride in it. I mean, we're the second most represented state for a reason. We love coming up to Montana and making it known that Texas football is still something that's very important, something that's very prominent.
What have you taken most from your high school days and used now as a Bobcat?
Mostly the preparation. Playing in Katy, you're playing a defensive D1 player pretty much every week. Whether it's a really good receiver, really good quarterback, running back, you're going to have to prepare. And here at this level, it's the same exact way. So pretty prepared for just going up against top talent in the nation.
Yeah, do you Texas guys get competitive about your high school or your city that you're from? Yeah, what's that like?
I know we always have an argument with John Johnson and Time and Color because they believe California teams are really good. Bosco, Mater Dei, they recruit everybody to the same school, and they have a really good team. Meanwhile, we're all just kids from the same neighborhood with just as good as a team in Texas, and I think that speaks more volumes than those private schools.
Yeah, you got to look at the whole bulk of
Exactly.
the state and the talent and the recruiting level. What's it like having Coach Owens, who is a Dallas guy? He went to school in Mesquite, now as your coach and that representation.
It's great. Just that connection we have. Just like he understands where I'm coming from with certain things, like being outside in the cold for practice. Like, he understands it's not your favorite thing being a Texas player on the team here, but he also understands it's something you need to be comfortable with in order to succeed here. So.
Definitely. Now switching gears, talking about the team you're going to be playing in Frisco, Texas, the 2 seed, NDSU, the team who ended y'all's season last year. You guys have talked about it day in and day out, how that blocked point, it sticks with you guys, it's motivated you guys for 365 days plus. What's the redemption level like going into this game?
The redemption level is, they took us out also in the last national championship game we were part of. The redemption level is very high. Obviously, we want to go 1-0 against anybody that we play, but because of those things, it's a lot higher, and we just want to take care of what we've got going on. We're focused on us. We're 15-0. We don't plan on it ending up 15-1, and honestly, that's the main focus right now.
Yeah, what stands out most about their offense and Cam Miller?
He's a great player. He extends a lot of plays, helps his team out a lot. They have pretty good receivers as well. Good running game, huge O-line, as everybody knows, but I think we stack up very well against them.
Yeah, you're able to watch on the sidelines what Tommy Mellott can do. It's so unique that both him and Cam are up for the Walter Payton this Saturday night, and then they'll meet on the field on Monday. What gives Tommy the edge?
Speed, also power. He's honestly just a better athlete in my opinion. We go against what I feel the best offense every day in practice, which is what has helped us this season as well. Just seeing what Tommy does day in and day out. Obviously, I don't see what Cam does every day, but I'd say he's a guy who deserves that reward.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, which is what you guys tell us all the time.
Yeah.
Take us inside the locker room. What's the preparation level like? What's the mindset like going into next Monday?
Just the main mindset is no stone unturned. We know we have one shot at this. We won't get a rematch after the game if we lose, but we want to make sure that we're looking into everything, every detail, every single situation of the game, and we want to come in as prepared as possible.
What's it going to take to bring home the first national championship? I can finally say, because this is the 1-0 week, that to bring back the first national championship in 40 years to this university.
Honestly, it's surreal. It's something that you dream of growing up as a kid, just winning a national championship in college, and that's all we plan to do. That's the main focus for today.
Well, best of luck. The whole community of Bozeman is rooting for you guys, and I think the whole community's coming. It sounds like.
Oh, yeah. They're coming.
Thanks so much for joining me today, Drew.
No doubt. Thanks.
Stay tuned because Keaton and I will be previewing the national championship coming up after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence joined here by Keaton Galogly, and I mentioned it with Drew earlier, but we can finally kind of stop with the 1-0 every week because there's only one more week. They want to go 1-0, and it's this week against NDSU.
It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of storylines, and if you go 1-0 one more time, you get to walk away with a trophy. All right, let's get into a couple of different keys to this game. I'll go first. For me, one of the things I'm watching is this head coaching matchup. How does a first-year head coach in Tim Polasek go up against a fourth-year head coach in Brent Vigen? Both guys coming out of the North Dakota State coaching tree under head coach Craig Bull. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch their adjustments they make throughout the game.
For me, I mentioned top of the show, the quarterback duel. You know, this has been such an era of top-tier quarterbacks in the FCS, two of the best going at it, and I agree with Drew. I think Tommy's speed, his IQ, his leadership, and his emotion that we've seen this past month is going to be crucial.
No doubt. It's been cool to watch both of those guys kind of follow a similar journey, now taking the reins this year. All right, 5 p.m. kickoff Monday night down in Frisco for the national championship between Montana State and NDSU. For Grace Lawrence, I'm Keaton Glogly. We'll talk again in 2 weeks on the Bobcat Insider.